Oh my goodness, that's a lot of smoke coming off this thing. Look at that. And I've got a DC motor running off this transformer here. And it's all because of diodes. And I'm going to show you how I do that. Welcome to season 2 of Danny 117 HD channel. I'm going to show you 5 uses for diodes tonight. Here we go. The flicker-free light on the train. Measuring voltage. Detecting voltage. Running a DC motor. And over here on the layout, I'm going to show you these high-low lights that go from between low and high and off, and a use for diodes in there to make the circuit easier to troubleshoot. Let's get started. Number 1 for the diode wiring your Lionel train layout or any layout that uses a AC transformer. So I've got the center roller going through a diode, through a capacitor, back to the truck wheel. Continuing on, it goes through a 1.4K resistor into a little tiny diode and then back to the truck wheel. And this capacitor serves as like a little battery to keep the light from flickering while the AC goes up and down like that. This capacitor smooths it out. So here's the actual implementation, and the positive side, if you get anything out of this video, the positive side of the diode has that gray or silver stripe on it. That's all you have to know. That's the positive side of the diode. Positive voltage comes out there, negative voltage. We could see on the capacitor, that's the negative side of the capacitor. Goes back to the truck wheel. So we got positive here, and then the negative goes back to the truck wheel. A little resistor out to the LED. So let's take a look at this car on the layout. What a beautiful implementation. Whoever made this, it wasn't me, did, but they soldered the light, the LED, right inside the screw base for a light bulb. So here it is going backwards, and you see when I flip it from forward to backwards, it just dims a little bit. It doesn't really go out. Let's watch them go around the layout, and we'll move on to the next. The next diode implementation is going to be right here. Use number 2 for the diode wiring your train layout is the measuring circuit, and I've got a whole video dedicated to that, but there's the circuit right there. I got the circuit back out from my notebook. Here's that passenger car again with the diode. And it's to detect the track voltage or whether a switch is open or closed. And I've got this in a video, but I just want to go into a little bit more detail on it. There's the positive end of the diode right there with the silver stripe on it. And I've got the negative end hooked to the ground side of this PC817 module board, and the 2 wires go up to the transformer to track voltage, and you can see the little light turns on. Well, when that light turns on, it safely sends a signal over to this little microcomputer here, and I can tell if it's open or closed, on or off. And the plan is I'm going to hook some of those up to all the 10 switches over here, and I'll be able to tell if the switch is open or closed with the microcomputer, and then from there in the microcomputer I'll be able to send the results up to my phone or out to the internet or something like that. But that's use 3, interfacing with a tiny microcomputer like a Arduino or a ESP32. This is an ESP32, and I think I'm just going to show how to run one of these motors. And to run one of these motors, you need a bigger diode. That's a diode that I took out of a Tyco HO transformer. It's a big diode. It's designed to handle a lot of power. It can run a little HO train. Certainly it can run. All right, here we are. This little smoke. I'm going to use this transformer, the Lionel transformer, to run this CAN motor. So on the DC side, the CAN motor needs DC. It's got a red and a black. So through the diode, and once again on the diode, the positive side has the silver band on it right there. So that's positive coming through this white test lead into the red lead for the motor, and the black wire for the motor just goes back up to the other post. Now the heater is wired directly to the transformer. It doesn't need DC power. I don't need DC power on the smoke heater in there, so I kind of go around it. So only the motor gets the DC. So it kind of, if anyone had that question, oh, do I have to run everything off that diode? No, you can run some stuff right to the transformer and some stuff off the diode there. So let's turn this on and see what it does. It's going to take a second for we can hear take a sec for the smoke to heat up. There it goes already. So it's starting to work. Let's see if I can get enough smoke to where I can film it. There we go. And that's about the rated voltage for this smoke unit. It's designed to do that. But since we've got it hooked to track power, let's see what it'll do if we overvolt it. See how much smoke we can actually make out of here. It's really going now. Full power, Captain. Yeah, that's doing some decent smoke, but let's see if I can get this to... All right, this is the 5th use for these diodes. And see, I've got these high-low lights. There's high, there's low, there's high and low. And I've got them running off this transformer, but what happens is if the B wire, and I'm calling B ground in this implementation, but if I was to lose that B wire, see these lights, some of the lights still work, but when I turn the switches, they don't. I'm turning the switch for that incandescent light there, and when I turn it, the other light comes on. And it took me forever to figure out what was going on there. And with diodes, I can simplify this. Using, we got A, B, and C, and we're going to work on that there's 6 volts between here, There's 12 volts between there, and from A to C, there's 18 volts. But we want to completely eliminate the chance of the A to C going through there. So I'm going to use B. I'm just going to call B ground, and I'm going to take A and C and run those over to a single pole double throw switch. That right there is a single pole double throw with center off switch, and this goes to the light bulb on the layout. There's my little light bulb. It's giving off some light. And the ground, the outside, I'm going to just tie back to the B on there. So that's the basic switch for the setup for these high-low off lights that I got on my layout. Okay, so here we are with two lamps in the circuit, and like I showed before, the problem occurs when the B line has a problem. So without that B line, the electricity can go from A through the switch, through lamp 1, through lamp 2, and back to C, and it was impossible for me to figure out what was going on. It took a couple days. When I finally figured it out, I was like, I'll just put in two diodes so that there's the power from A can go through the light, through lamp 2, and it can't get back through the diode on lamp C. All right, there's the car with the diode in the back, running the spotlight. Do a couple pan shots and we'll call it a night. Maybe even bring them through the reversing loop. If you have any questions on diodes, just drop a message in the comments. If you learned anything, I hope you learned the stripe end of the diode is positive. Drop a message in the comments. If you want to know anything about the Arduino and the ESP32, hooking them up to these old Postwar trains, leave a message in the comment. And let's do a pan shot and we'll call it a night. Good night, everyone.